I know you're gonna dig this.
There we go! Hey guys, welcome back to Dreassembling Racing. I guess this is kind of like a part 2 to
changing your clutch.
Yeah, changing the clutch. So yeah, in the last part, if you haven't watched that, if you're trying to do this yourself, go back, watch that. Not a how-to, but got a lot of good pointers in there. So before this can even go back together, because I didn't buy a new flywheel, we're using this one. It's a dual mass flywheel.
Hey, why didn't you just take it down to the machine shop and have it surfaced?
Because you can't, because a lot of machine shops won't even touch it.
So, unlike most, it's a dual mass. It moves around, and they can't, I mean they can, but it's difficult to fixture. So nobody really wants to touch it. At least that's been our experience, right?
Oh, and why don't I buy a new one too? Oh, they're like $750. So
what are you gonna do?
So I'm gonna trust you with it. We're gonna put our sandpaper,
80 grit,
80 grit on Dremel, and because it's got some cush to it, feel good.
Yeah, we're gonna clean it up and scuff it.
Scuff it, and it's not terrible, and I think we'll be able to do it just fine. We're going to clean it up a little bit first, and then show you the kind of like the end result or doing it.
All right, sounds good.
Got it all over your white wall.
Of course. Of course you did.
Can't work on anything without making a mess.
Can't have anything.
Some people's children.
Yes. Speaking of messes, what did you find when you came in here today?
Yeah, I was kind of confused there with myself. I'm like, did he do that? Or...
Had the storm window fall off and knock over 2 jugs of oil with no lids. What a mess.
All right. Now let's work on getting the air hose over here.
All right, let's get the air hose out. Since we're going to run the compressor, we're going to stop video. Nobody wants to hear that, and we'll show you the end result. And the struggle begins. So first off, that's not a 1/4-inch collet. It must be something metric. And
2 times to try starting this one's zinging off. This is the fastest thing we got. It's 2,800 RPM.
yeah, I really wanted to use the air die grinder, but that's not going to work. So we got a fan with a couple filters to take the dust out of the air so we don't choke ourselves out. And we're going to just use a drill. So let's get after it.
Oh yeah, I think that's working pretty good.
Still got some hot spots we got to work out.
Yeah, I think it's working good.
Okay, Ricky, we scuffed it up with 80 grit. It looks pretty good.
A lot better than what it was, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. It certainly ain't going to be any worse. Yeah, this Stage 3 racing clutch, it's going to see a lot of abuse. So honestly, we might be back into this before the season's over. So maybe not best for longest life, but I think for what we're doing, it'll work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, send it. So we have, it's like a T55.
They call it
Torx.
E14.
Yep.
Inverted.
So, right. So what's torque specs?
So it's 3-step torque.
Okay.
37 foot-pounds, 59 foot-pounds, and 83 foot-pounds.
Sounds easy enough. So
the trick, I think, is going to be holding the engine still while we're trying to torque it.
probably. We'll figure it out.
Always do.
Always do. All right. All right, of course, as we try to torque things, the flywheel wants to spin. And there is a tool for this job. We don't have the tool, but look what I have. This is just the locking mechanism for a Craftsman toolbox. So I put a bolt through there and right in the teeth. Holding it nice and steady while Ricky's torquing it, and this thing's not going anywhere.
Yeah, we got the first set of torques down. Now we're on the second set, and it's 59 foot-pounds.
All right. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to spray it down with some brake clean because we don't want our dirty fingerprints and everything on it where the clutch is going to go up. Then we're going to install the clutch and pressure plate. What's torque specs on that, Ricky?
It was 29 Newton meters.
Okay.
And I got that on our torque wrench here. And it's looking like on the foot-pound side to be
20-ish.
Yeah, 22 maybe, just
Okay.
shy.
Yep.
There's conversion charts out there, but
All right, so let's get this thing. So do you have an alignment tool for the clutch?
not exactly.
But
They didn't come with one.
it's pretty close. I was very surprised it didn't come with one, but we got one that's pretty close. We'll see if we can make it work.
And being a single disc or a single disc clutch, other than like a 6-puck or like a bigger clutch, it might be a little bit easier to line up.
Okay, we'll see. We may struggle.
Probably will.
I bet we do.
All right, it's all torqued, and like I said, it was 29 newton meters, about 22 or so foot-pounds. Back up for a second. You want to kind of go, every other like you would, tighten your lugs on your car, just because it is kind of spring-loaded, I guess.
So yeah, torque it down evenly, and then we had to hold it in place. You have a dual mass flywheel, so it wants to move.
And initially, you were holding the flywheel, and as I was tightening it, we thought it would come to a point where it would kind of like stop, but I didn't feel comfortable. It just didn't feel right. So let's kind of show you in here. We got a small pry bar, and it's kind of wedged it in there a little bit to hold this from moving.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of move. Go ahead and show them.
Yeah, so there's
So a dual mass flywheel is allowing that to move around, which should help us line it up, I think.
right. So I don't think we didn't put excessive force on it. It's only very small amount of foot-pounds, so don't think that's a big deal. So now we got to worry about change out that slave cylinder, which I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
So we change that out, and I'm going to go ahead and clean the seal a little bit, wipe it down with a paper towel, and I'm going to put a light coating of grease on both seal surfaces. We'll clean the half shafts up, a little light coat of grease on those.
Right. Yeah, and for the slave cylinder, it's a matter of 2 bolts.
2 bolts.
And it all slides out, and the new one just goes right back in. So not a big deal. Well, I'll show you later how we end up bleeding it when we get to that point. All right. We were going to show you some of this,
What a
but
struggle.
it must have been 2 hours almost, it feels like.
Yeah.
We got the transmission on. Quick, there's no good, easy way of doing it. But what we found was have this, like your differential, turned up in the air when you have it bringing it in. And then when you get past your frame here and everything, drop it down and then kind of get lined up. Like I said, there's no easy way of going about it. It takes a lot of wrestling and a lot of strength. Maybe a third guy would help, or maybe it got in the way, I don't know. Or maybe a transmission jack.
Yeah.
I mean, wild thought, but who knows?
I'll never take the transmission out again, so why would I need it?
Right. So
I'm getting the motor mount that bolts to the transmission bolted up right now.
right, so might be able to see there's still a slight gap, but that's just gonna matter of sucking it in. We're getting the mount up there to maybe take some weight off of it, and we get all the rest of the bolts started. And so we'll get back to you once all the those bolts are in. So all the transmission bolts are in and tight. We didn't torque them; it's just more of a go till they're tight. And we got the shifter linkage bracket, I guess, mounted, and the transmission mounted. All that's pretty basic, and it's just a matter of fighting, everything your way. So now it's time to bleed the clutch. This is the
old slave cylinder.
the old slave cylinder. And so you made a hose for it?
So we got a hose. So this is the bleed valve, and just by turning it, you can bleed.
And you pump the clutch like you do.
It's just
your
like
brakes.
bleeding the brakes. Yeah.
Except for you don't put a wrench on this, and this just open, close,
Yep.
open, close. You put a hose on it just so it's
You'll
not
push down.
spray
I'll
everywhere.
open it up. You'll push down. I'll close it. You'll lift up, and it's a shared master cylinder with the brakes.
Yep.
So fill that with fluid. Keep an eye on it. We've got a bucket down here to catch it off the hose. Ricky's gonna push the clutch. Now I'm gonna work it over here and see if we can get this thing bled. Okay, guys, we're struggling with a little leak, and it turns out you've got to move a seal from your old slave cylinder to the new slave cylinder. The new one is not provided a new seal. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So we thought it was just leaking from when he changed or plug in the lines, but as soon as I started pushing the clutch pedal in, it just went straight to the ground like a spring, and I have to bring it back up myself. But hopefully this fixes that problem and we can keep bleeding it.
Okay, what's going on next, Ricky?
Well, the clutch is bled, and I learned about dead zone at the. We were gonna bleed till that bottle of brake fluid was gone.
Oh, it feels really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I didn't feel that before. Maybe
Yeah,
it's 'cause I've been
the
driving
last
that truck or something.
last 10 or 15% of travel, there's at the top. There's about nothing going on.
So now we're getting the half shafts put back in, so we can
Put a wheel on, spin it.
and see if the clutch actually works.
Yeah.
It shifts right now, so yeah. So let's get these. Should just be a matter of just kind of get in lined up, push it in, and
Yeah. So we got this bracket over here, or it's actually sitting on the bench. Let's get that installed, Ricky,
yeah.
and then help that shaft through the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything special. I think this one literally just went in, kind of.
Yeah.
So
These are pretty easy.
yeah.
All right, go get those parts off the bench. Let's get this done.
All right, so we got the half shafts in, and just to test to make sure the clutch worked, we put the tires on and rotated them. Well, one of us held one side, and the other one couldn't rotate it. And then we tested it, pushing the clutch in, and the other one would rotate. So
Yeah. So we proved the clutch is operating, and
all the gears work. So
yeah, we still gotta get fluid in this, of course.
oh yeah,
And we got a lot of work. We got to put the engine back together. Got to get the tie rod ends on, and a lot of things.
I think we're past the hard part.
Definitely past the hard part. Good day today.
Yeah, so this video's gonna continue on tomorrow for us, but it's not the end of the video.
All right.
All right, we're back for another day. Pretty much everything we're doing now is reverse of what we initially did. Like I said, if you don't remember what you did, or we've already had to reference back to what we did before, go watch the previous video on doing this. But mainly right now we're working on, I just got the pinch bolts in, and now I'm trying to get the tie rods in. Pretty basic. We did mess up this one, so it's going to be a little treat getting it back together, but shouldn't be a problem. And then getting the motor mount all lined up. And after that, it's hoses, intake, battery box. Pretty basic stuff. If you made it to this point, you'll probably be all right. So if we find anything else, we'll get back to you on that. Okay, we're just buttoning up everything up top. Cowl is pretty basic. Then we're gonna get the headlights in. We got the battery box in, intake done. But after this, we're gonna fill up transmission.
Yeah, we'll show you how the fluid goes in and where you put it and how you measure it. And
Yep. I get this BG Synchro Shift 2 off Wish Motorsports website. A lot of guys recommend this that do drag racing with these cars, or if this is you're just doing an OEM kind of deal, buy it straight from Ford, and it's pricey. It's like between you buy $60 to $75 for 2 bottles of it. So is what it is. All right, guys, as we pointed out in a previous video, to drain your transmission fluid in your Fiesta ST, your drain plug is right here. It looks different than every other bolt. Can't really miss it. And it is an 8mm Allen.
okay, and where's the fill plug, Ricky?
And so the fill plug is way up here. Once again, looks different than everything else. And it is an 8mm.
Okay, now how much oil do we put in this?
I think they recommend 1.67 quarts, but some guys say they put in all 2 quarts. So, but I think isn't technically like 1 inch below the fill or something
Right,
like
so you
that.
stick your finger in.
Yeah.
So it's depending on how much you drained out as well. So it's below. You don't fill it till it comes out, but
Right, that's how it is in some vehicles, but not
Yeah.
this.
so we'll fill a little bit less than 2 quarts. All right, So you got a pump you're going to put it in with?
Yeah, we'll show that after we get this opened up.
Okay. So I've changed the fluid on this. We hit about 30,000 miles. How many times have you changed it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be your first fluid change?
It's simple as bashing your fingers. Quick tip also.
Sorry.
A quick tip also, if you're just in here to change your fluid, make sure you get your fill plug open first before you drain any of your fluid. Because if you can't and something messes up and you drained everything already, you're in some trouble. So be sure you can crack that open first before you ever get started.
Not so much a problem here, but on a few other vehicles we've ran into that.
So yeah, let's show you that pump. So the fluid we're using, showed you earlier. And then this is just a simple pump. Pretty much goes down all the way in there and should make it a lot easier than trying to get a funnel in there somehow.
Okay, we'll put about 1.5 quarts in and then see where it's at. You want me to put the camera down and help?
I think this will go.
Just like that.
Or if you're fancy, you probably get a battery powered pump or something, but
Boy, this works.
this is cheap and easy.
All right, I'm gonna put the camera down, help you finish this up, and then we'll do a final check.
All right.
Yeah, you about got her. You gotta put two wheels on.
It took, for us, almost all of 2 quarts, and then I reached in there and I felt it on the tip of my finger, so I was about...
It's still below the sight level, and
Right. So, last step is put the wheels back on.
get around the ground, and a lot of snow out there. I don't know if we can get this thing out or not.
We'll see. But,
Not exactly snow-friendly tread.
no, not really.
Not even close. I thought you could bring snows over.
Well, you know how that goes.
All right, he's gonna make some noise. I'm gonna shut it off. Nothing left to do but get it off the lift, huh?
Yeah, and looks like we might be able to drive it out of here.
Yeah, I think the snow's cleared out enough.
I'm gonna double check everything up top again, just to really make sure. I got the headlights plugged in this time, so.
Yeah. Awesome. See you on the test drive.
All right.
Get her in neutral. See if she starts.
Yeah, I'm just so used to driving that S10 and it just feels different.
Yeah.
Okay. Check engine light's still there, so that's good.
Yep.
Alright, see if our reverse works. Wow, that is grabby.
Okay.
Wow. First wheel sucks.
Huh?
I mean, it moves, so.
All right, I'll open the door. Let's get this thing out and take it for a test drive. Well, what do you think?
So far it seems normal. It's definitely a lot more grabby. I can feel that right away.
Look at all that snow.
What's that noise? Sounds like something hitting. Hear that?
No?
You don't hear that?
No.
Tick, 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 tick.
drive seems to, transmission works, clutch works.
Yeah, I just got a ticking sound. I don't know what that is.
Got a little noise, but could have always been there.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
So, but other than that, everything else works.
Put it back in the shop and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah. Alright guys, so after a pretty successful test drive, we think that noise that we heard, I think it's just a brake issue after jacking it up and everything. But transmission shifts smooth, the clutch works great, it's grabby, looks brand new. It feels great. So hopefully this video helped you putting your Fiesta back together.
Okay, so what's next for this car?
Got slicks on order.
Got a little bit of braking. You can drive it for a 500-mile, break it in.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's very important. Yeah.
Break in the clutch.
500-mile break in, easy driving. Don't go hard on it. Just really work it in, and then should be good to go. So 501, just put the hammer down and no, don't probably not do that. So anyway, hopefully this video helped you guys with putting your transmission back in, and hopefully you like enough to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.